Olivia found a list of rules on her fridge the day she moved in, and she knew immediately she hadn't written them. The paper was too clean, too deliberate, and the handwriting didn't belong to her. It was late afternoon when she first noticed it, the kind of quiet, gray Chicago afternoon that makes everything feel slightly paused, like the city is holding its breath. Olivia Hart stood in the middle of her new apartment, surrounded by half-open boxes and the faint smell of dust and cleaning solution, trying to convince herself this move was a fresh start. She needed that. After everything. The apartment itself wasn't special. One bedroom, narrow kitchen, old hardwood floors that creaked in places she hadn't learned yet. But it was affordable, and more importantly, it was empty of memories. Or at least, it was supposed to be. She walked into the kitchen to get water and stopped, because something was already there. A piece of paper, held to the fridge by a small magnet, perfectly centered. That was the first thing that felt wrong. Not the note itself, but how intentional it looked. Olivia stepped closer, read it. There were 3 rules. 1. Lock the door after 10 p.m. 2. Do not leave lights on overnight. 3. Keep the windows closed at all times. She frowned. It didn't feel threatening. It felt practical, like something a cautious tenant might leave behind. Probably just the last person, she muttered. Still, something about it didn't sit right. She reached up, took the paper down, folded it once, then dropped it into the trash. Problem solved. That should have been the end of it. But the next morning, it was back. Exactly the same. Same position, same magnet, same paper. Olivia stood there longer this time, because now this wasn't forgetfulness. She clearly remembered throwing it away. She checked the trash. The paper wasn't there. That's when something shifted. Not fear. Awareness. She looked at the list again, and noticed something new. There were 4 rules now. 4. Do not open the door after the second knock. Olivia didn't laugh this time. She didn't explain it away. Because this wasn't normal. She took the paper again. This time, she didn't throw it away. She placed it on the counter and waited. Nothing happened. All day, nothing. Until night came. And with it, the first test. The knock came at 11:12 p.m. Soft. Controlled. Just one. Olivia froze. Because she remembered the rule. Second knock. That's when it matters. She didn't move. Didn't speak. Waited. The second knock came slower. Louder. More deliberate. Her heart started to rise now. Not panic. Anticipation. She stood there, staring at the door, waiting for the third knock, but it never came. Instead, there was silence. And then a voice. Soft, close. You almost did. Olivia stepped back immediately, because that voice didn't come through the door. It came from the other side of the room. That was the moment fear fully arrived. Because now, the rules weren't suggestions. They were accurate. The next morning, the list changed again. Olivia didn't need to check. She already knew. Something had been added. Her hands felt colder as she walked toward the fridge. And when she read it, her stomach dropped. 5. Olivia, do not check the hallway camera tonight. Her name, on the paper. That's when everything broke. Because no one knew she was here yet. She had moved in alone. No introductions, no conversations, no contact. And yet, something knew her name. Olivia stepped back slowly. Because now, this wasn't a leftover note. This was active, watching, responding. She grabbed her phone, checked the building system. There was a hallway camera. Of course there was. And now, she wanted to check it more than anything. Which meant the rule mattered. And that's when the real question formed. Was the list protecting her or controlling her? That question stayed with her the entire day, until 3:17 a.m. Her phone rang. She woke instantly, heart already racing, because something inside her knew there would be a rule. She walked into the kitchen, checked the list, and there it was, a new line. 6. Do not answer your phone at 3:17 a.m. Her phone was still ringing. She stared at it, watched it vibrate. Unknown number. No name. No location. Just sound. Waiting. Olivia didn't answer. The ringing stopped. And seconds later, a message appeared. Missed call, you. She didn't sleep again that night. Because now, she understood something terrifying. The rules weren't random. They were specific, timed, and one step ahead. Days passed. The list grew. Rule after rule. Some small, some strange. Leave the bathroom light on if it turns on by itself. Do not stand in front of the mirror for more than 10 seconds at night. If you hear footsteps above you, stay still. She followed them. Every single one. Because the one time she didn't, something changed. She forgot to turn off the kitchen light overnight. Just once, and the next morning, there was a new rule. 7. That was your warning. That was the moment she stopped questioning and started obeying. But the deeper she went, the worse it became. Because one night, a rule disappeared. It wasn't crossed out. It wasn't replaced. It was just gone. Do not look under the bed. Olivia stared at the space where it used to be. Because now, she knew what that meant. That night, she heard it. From under the bed. Slow. Breathing. Not loud, but real. Close enough to feel. She sat on the edge of the mattress, frozen. Because now, there was no rule. Nothing stopping her. Nothing guiding her. Just instinct. And fear. Her body leaned forward slightly, just enough to look. Then, she stopped, because something inside her still remembered the rule, even if it was gone. She didn't look, didn't move, didn't breathe. And after a long time, the sound stopped. The next morning, the list had changed again. 8. Good. That single word changed everything. Because now, it wasn't just protection. It was evaluation. Something was watching her choices, learning from them, and adjusting. That's when the final shift began. The rules started contradicting each other. Do not leave the apartment tonight. Open the door if someone calls your name. Do not trust your reflection. And then, the most dangerous one. Do not forget rule number 1. Olivia looked at the list. Rule number 1 was gone. Completely. And suddenly, she couldn't remember it. No matter how hard she tried. That's when the knock came again. Same pattern. 1, 2. Then, a voice. Familiar. Soft. It's me, Olivia. I wrote the rules. She froze. Because that voice was hers. She looked at the list and watched as a new line appeared. Slowly. Like it was being written in real time. 9. Do not believe the voice. You wrote the rules. Her breath stopped. because now it made sense. She had written them before, for this moment, to protect herself from something already inside. And the final line appeared. If you're reading this and don't remember writing it, it's already too late. Olivia looked up into the reflection of the fridge and saw herself standing behind her, holding the paper, writing the rules again. So answer this. If you found a list of rules in your own home that knew your name, would you follow them? Or ignore them and find out why they exist? Because sometimes the only thing keeping you safe is something you don't remember creating. And if you stop following it, you might finally understand what it was trying to protect you from.